So let me guess, a lot of you guys are having a hard time when trying to get headshots, right? Maybe your shots go over the enemy's head, or maybe they get stuck in the enemy's body. Well my friend, in today's video, I'm gonna tell you guys 20 mistakes that players do and how to fix them and get better at getting headshots. So without wasting any more time, first let's start with mistake number 1. So guys, the first mistake that players do is that they drag the fire button in the wrong speed. For example, in long range, if you drag the fire button very fast, the bullets will go over the enemy's head. And in short range, if you drag the fire button very slowly, the bullets will get stuck in the enemy's body. So to fix this, in long range, make sure to drag the fire button in a slow speed. And in mid range, make sure to drag the fire button in a normal speed. And finally, in short range, make sure to drag the fire button fast. The second mistake that players do is that they drag the fire button in the wrong direction. When dragging, try to drag the fire button towards the enemy's head. For example, let's say an enemy is running towards the right side. If you do a straight drag on that enemy, the bullet will most likely go over the enemy's head. But if you want to get headshots, you need to drag the fire button towards the enemy's head. The third mistake that players do is that they use the red crosshair method to aim in short range and drag the fire button straight upwards. In short range, it's very hard to get headshots using the red crosshair method because the aim will get stuck in the enemy's body because of the default aim. So instead of using the red crosshair method in short range, I'd recommend you guys to use the white crosshair method. One of the easiest ways to get headshots in short range is to place the crosshair white and below the enemy's leg level, and next quickly drag the fire button upwards. So guys, now let's move on to mistake number 4. As I said earlier, it's very hard to get headshots in short range when you use the red aim method. For example, when using SMG guns, I think most of you guys might have gone through a situation where when you try to drag in short range, the aim gets stuck in the enemy's body. So to fix this, when dragging the fire button upwards, try to jump several times like this while firing. When you do this, most of the time the aim will go up to the enemy's head. This method is very good when using SMG guns such as the MP40, but I don't recommend you guys to use this method when doing one-taps. The fifth mistake that I see a lot of players do is that they continuously fire like this. When you do this, the crosshair will start to get larger and your bullets will start to recoil. For example, as you guys can see here, when I'm continuously firing like this, a lot of bullets are spreading all across the place instead of going towards the enemy's head. So to fix this, make sure to drag and fire in splits. First fire a few bullets, next stop, and again fire a few bullets, then again stop, and you can keep doing this as much as you want. This method will help you to control the recoil. When using guns such as shotguns and the Desert Eagle, a lot of players will keep continuously firing like this. As I said earlier, when you continuously fire like this, the bullets will start to recoil. So when using such guns, try to do the one tap and run method instead of continuously firing. The sixth mistake that I see players do is that they open the scope and drag in short range and mid range. If you open the scope and drag in mid range and especially in short range, most of the time the bullets will get stuck in the enemy's body because of the default aim. So when dragging in mid range and short range, try to use the crosshair instead of the scope. But in long range, I recommend you guys to use the scope to aim when dragging instead of the crosshair. The seventh mistake that players do is that they play with a very low sensitivity. Now this is one of the reasons that your bullets get stuck in the enemy's body. So if you guys wanna get more headshots, I'd recommend you guys to increase your general sensitivity up to 100. The eighth mistake that players do is that they move the joystick button when doing one-tap headshots. If you keep moving the joystick button when trying to do an one-tap on the enemy, most of the time the bullets will either get stuck on the enemy's body or else they might go over the enemy's head. So when trying to do one-taps, I'd recommend you guys to first stay in a still position before dragging, and remember not to use the joystick button when dragging the fire button. But guys, when doing drag headshots with guns such as SMG guns and AR guns, it's okay to use the joystick button while firing. The ninth mistake that players do is that they don't aim properly before dragging the fire button. For example, I have seen some players that quickly drag the fire button even without aiming when they see an enemy. Most of the time, when they do this, they will most likely miss the shot. So before dragging, first remember to aim the crosshair at the enemy and then drag the fire button. The 10th mistake that players do is that they do not practice consistently. So guys, a lot of players DM me on Instagram and ask me why they can't get headshots even though they practice for hours. Now when I ask them if they practice consistently every day, some of them say that they play for many hours one day and next stop and play again after a few more days. When you don't keep practicing consistently, the muscle memory that you have with things such as the fire button placement, drag speeds and drag lengths decrease. So try to play almost every day for a few hours if you want to get better at getting headshots instead of playing one day and stopping and again playing after a few days. The 11th mistake that players do is that they don't fully drag the fire button. Instead, they switch the gun too early. When dragging and switching, a lot of players don't focus on the drag. Instead, they focus on switching the gun. If you don't do the drag correctly and switch too early, the bullets will get stuck in the enemy's body. So when dragging, first fully do the drag. Next, once you hit the enemy, quickly switch your gun. The 12th mistake is wrong fire button size and placement. For example, if you place the fire button on the top like this, there won't be enough space for you to drag the fire button. When you don't have enough space to drag the fire button, your bullets will get stuck in the enemy's body. And especially if you guys play on low-end devices, you need more space to drag. So if you guys play on low-end devices, I'd recommend you guys to keep the fire button in the bottom like this, leaving a bit of space here. And if you guys have high-end device, you can keep the fire button in the middle like this. Now when talking about the fire button size, if you guys make the fire button too big, your drag space will decrease. But if you guys make the fire button too small, you might have mistouch problems. So the best fire button size range that I recommend you guys to keep the fire button is to keep it between 40 to 60. So guys, now let's move on to mistake number 13. Now a reason a lot of players have a hard time when getting headshots is because they have a rough screen. When you have a rough screen, it's hard to smoothly drag the fire button. So to drag the fire button smoothly, I'd recommend you guys to use a pair of finger sleeves. That's because finger sleeves will help you guys to smoothly drag the fire button if you guys have a rough screen. So guys, now let's move on to mistake number 14. Another reason that players can't get headshots is when their phones get heated up. I have noticed that it's very hard to get headshots when the phone is very heated. Even though I use the correct drag methods and aiming methods, it's very hard to get headshots when the phone is heated up. If your phone is also heated up, I'd recommend you guys to take a small break and let your phone cool down for some time. After that, you guys can try again once it cools down. So guys, now let's move on to mistake number 15. The next reason why you guys might not be able to get headshots is because you might have kept your aim precision settings on full control. When you put the aim precision settings to full control, you won't be able to do drag headshots or in-scope drag headshots because the default aim won't work when you turn it on. If you want to get headshots with the full control settings, you'll have to manually bring the crosshair onto the enemy's head and fire. If you put the aim precision settings to precise and scope, you'll be able to do normal drag headshots, but you won't be able to do drag headshots with the scope. So if you guys want to do drag headshots and in-scope drag headshots, make sure to put the aim precision settings onto default. 16th mistake that players do is that they do too much movement when attacking the enemy. When we do too much movement without any practice, it's very hard to accurately shoot at the enemy. Most of the time, you'll either miss your shot or the shot will either get stuck in the enemy's body. So first, practice doing headshots in a still position. Once your accuracy gets better, you can increase your movement little by little. 17th mistake that players do is that they put the graphics settings to ultra graphics when playing with low-end devices. If you play on a 1GB, 2GB or 3GB RAM device, I'd recommend you guys to play on smooth or standard graphics. If you put it onto ultra in a low-end device, most of the time your device might start to lag and it will be very hard to get headshots. If you guys have a device above 4GB RAM, you guys can play on ultra. But if you are a 4GB RAM user and your device starts lagging when playing on ultra, I'd recommend you guys to play on standard graphics. So guys, now let's move on to mistake number 18. Now another problem that a lot of players face is that even though they keep dragging upwards when using the down aim method, still their bullets keep getting stuck in the enemy's body. If it's still hard for you guys to get headshots, I'd recommend you guys to use the upper aim method instead of using the down aim method. First place the crosshair on top of the enemy, next drag the fire button downwards and quickly drag it upwards. So guys, now let's move on to mistake number 19. Now a lot of players say that when they go into the training ground, they are able to get headshots, but when they go into Clash Squad and Battle Royale matches, it's very hard for them to get headshots. Now one of the biggest reasons for this problem is that they panic when they get into a fight with an enemy. Now when you play in the training ground, there's no big reason to panic because you will get respawned as soon as you get eliminated. But in Clash Squad matches, you'll have to wait till the next round to get respawned. So a lot of players panic when they get into a fight with enemies in Clash Squad and Battle Royale matches. When they panic, most of them lose their focus and forget about the important things such as aiming methods and drag speeds. Now this is one of those reasons why they can't get headshots in Clash Squad and Battle Royale matches. So when fighting enemies in Clash Squad and Battle Royale matches, try to stay calm and confident so that you can focus well on the fight. So guys, now let's move to mistake number 20. The 20th mistake that players do is that they don't know the types of dragging methods that pro players use in Free Fire. So guys, a lot of YouTubers and pro players have created drag methods that help players to get headshots easily. And guys, there are many types of drag methods, for example, rotation drag, down up drag, opposite rotation drag, and etc. So if you guys want to know the drag methods, check out this video. In here, I talk about 8 types of drag methods that pro players use to get more headshots.